Hey, what's up, pro wrestling fans? Welcome to the Nation's Corner. I am Front Row. Joining me this week, as always, the greatest truck driver of all time, Tony Justice, Debhausen, the great and powerful, and all the way from Monrovia, Long Island, Mongrovian Mike. What's up, people?
Hey-o.
How's it going?
What's up?
So, what do you want to talk about?
Well, the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that I can hear everything now. Front Row was so courteous the other day, pulling the curtain back a little bit. He was so courteous to get into my computer for me, like, what do you call it, remotely? Yeah.
Slid right in there.
Yeah, he slid right into my DMs.
What'd you find?
He updated all my drivers. I mean, I had some outdated drivers or something. So now, I mean, I can hear everything. So thank you, Front Row.
Just a little house cleaning. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Got to keep everything tip-top out there on the road.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
so we decided to shake up the format and do something a little different tonight. Instead of just giving you guys like our opinions on all the matches and cool stuff that happen in the world of pro wrestling, we decided just to BS like we normally do as a group of friends at night and on behind the scenes. So what I want to do is, and Deb, you had put this in our group chat about our thoughts on there were several pretty important Cody Rhodes interviews over the last week or so. Busted Open did one, Dave did one with Cody, and Sam Roberts also did one. Both very different questions, but really without, I think, assaulting anybody or being super negative. He was super honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get your thoughts first. Like, what are a couple of things that stuck out to you as a fan?
So for me, I liked that he, in these interviews that he's done in the podcast rounds, he didn't shy away from talking about AEW. Like, he talked about AEW, he talked about the Bucks. He didn't shy away from it, but he was pretty like you said, honest. Just said, hey, this is this is how it is for me. This is my thought process. This is what my plan was. And I like that because I tend to not like when certain organizations try to pretend that certain other organizations don't exist, or things of that nature. So for him to acknowledge, like, hey, yes, I did leave WWE and start a new company. I did go out on my own and started, what most people consider as a rival. But, I came back and here I am, and this is what we're doing. So yeah, I liked that he didn't pretend that those years didn't happen. Like it
Right.
happened. We can't ignore it.
No, it's important to his story, and I'm really looking forward to the documentary. I've seen bits and pieces. We've talked to a few people who are fortunate enough to see it ahead of time, and from what we've heard, it's a very honest. Obviously, AEW is not going to give them authority to air video from their stuff, but from what I understand, there's BET, this Ring of not Ring of Honor, but Independence, his
Right.
time, in between, and all this other cool stuff. There was something that I saw a clip of. I think it was Chris Van Vliet's interview with Cody, and he talked about his music. He talked about the importance of having the song, but not just having the song, but having all of it, including his wrestling has more than one royal family. Like, that's Cody's line. He recorded that line, and it kicks off his entrance. And WWE was like, no, that has to stay. Which, awesome, right? Like, it's an important. Because it sets up things for down the road, maybe. It sets up possible feuds with him. Triple H isn't in the ring, but there's still ways that they can tell the story of him versus an authority figure. There's all kinds of stuff they can do by leaving that line in. It wouldn't have helped them at all by taking it out. In fact, it just would have made the fans angry, which I think Cody talked about. So that was an important thing, I thought, too. Tony, what were one or two things that you saw from these interviews that stuck out to you?
Well, of course, anytime Cody does an interview, he makes the best of it. Covers a lot of real estate. He like Deb said, he made mention of AEW, the things that's coming up that we can only speculate about. Cody is well aware of his road he's on, this match coming up with Brock. You know, the thing that I've really enjoyed about Cody, not only when he does an interview, the words he uses, very descriptive words. He's very well spoken. The fact that they're putting such a spotlight on Cody, it leads you to believe that he is like they talked about on Busted Open the other day. Roman and Cody are the faces of WWE right now, and Cody is just from front row. What you said, his entrance music, from the very minuscule details to his entrance music to his brand, because the American Nightmare brand is all over everything, and WWE did a great job of when they brought him back in, that you're getting the Cody Rhodes that he wants to be presented, right? We're not getting WWE's version of what they want you to, how they want to present Cody. That in itself was telling when WWE first brought him in. So obviously they have huge plans for Cody, and then this documentary coming out. What is it, Monday when it's coming out?
Monday, yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's being treated as like a theatrical release, basically, like a movie we
They had
can't
a
wait to
red
go to the
carpet
theater
event
and
and
see.
everything.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, the pomp and circumstance along with Cody right now is amazing, and you know, I can't wait to see what's down the road. What is this story he keeps talking about? Finish the story. Who are the players going to be involved in this story? I've just enjoyed anytime Cody does an interview. I enjoy everything he talks about.
Yeah, so I want to ask Deb. I just want to go back to you for a second because you guys were in the room when Cody made his big return at WrestleMania.
Yes.
And so, like, we kind of had rumors. We thought he might be there, but the big question was, what version are they going to bring back? For you in the room, what was the reaction when it was clear that we were getting the American Nightmare in its full package?
So, you know, we were up in the 300 section, so we were pretty far away. And AT&T Stadium is massive. So,
That's what she said.
the one good thing I loved about our seats being up there is we had this amazing full 360 view of the entire stadium. Like, even though it was hard to see like the action in the ring, and we were in that kind of corner where we couldn't even see the front of the stage, so like we didn't really get the full effect of the entrances and stuff. But I can tell you that just that moment when his music hit and people recognized the first couple notes to that song, us being able to have that full view of the entire massive stadium, the place just exploded.
I'm getting goosebumps just you thinking about that, because I was there too.
We remember that, and that is one of the biggest memories that I have of that night. Like when you're at these big events like this, and anytime you do something super exciting like that, like it's so overwhelming that you don't really remember everything later on, but there are snippets that I specifically remember, and that moment is one of them. It was just like, I think I remember just standing there going, wow.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
The two most significant pops from that night was Cody returning and Stone Cold's entrance. Those were the two. Mm-hmm. Those are the two pops that I will always remember. And I've heard Austin's pop before, but that night in particular was special. So
I hadn't. So it was very special for me. There's a lot of things that happened that night that were very special milestones for me. But yeah, that moment was insane.
But I know what you're talking about, because we were the only WrestleMania we've been to is at 33, and I've talked about, you know, we were there when the Hardys made their return. That was not something that people were talking about. That was a massive surprise. And 77,000 people lost their collective minds. It was the stadium was shaking. It was insane. But Mike, I wanted to ask you, because Cody talked about in the interview, sort of regretting having talked or sort of talking about the phrase "finish the story." And I know that he had mentioned it once a few months ago, now, And Dustin Rhodes also was on social media talking about finish the story. And then there was speculation, oh, is Dustin going to WWE? What's happening here, right? Which I think is really good for the business when there's a lot of chatter and uncertainty from a storyline and character perspective. And, oh, is someone going to show up? Okay, we're excited about all that. That's cool. Yeah. But Cody sort of talked about, he's distanced himself from the Dusty storyline now because he's paving his own path. And he's honored him and he's moved on. Do you think they should return to that to let him finish the loop and finish the story? Or do you think like they should just be done with it?
I mean, the other day he said hard times also. So it's kind of, it's kind of hard to say no. Maybe he's trying to, maybe he's just trying to not give away too much, or because, when he gets out there and does a promo, he's pretty much shooting. I think he's someone that they trust, and he gets bullet points and gets told what direction to go. But when he's saying something extemporaneously, I'm gonna look that word up later.
I was super impressed right there.
Yeah, no, it just sounded like the right place to put that kind of word, so I put that word there. And and he's just gotta live with it. But I'm wondering, Tony, did your when Cody came out, did your nipples get as hard as Daddy Magic's?
Well, fortunately, I can't remember memories with my nipples too much, but yeah.
You can't. You don't have any memories with your nipples. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh my god.
Yeah, back on track with Cody. Back on track with Cody. The thing is, he's just a master. So he just like in baseball, they talk about the trajectory of the home run. I mean, but he just always has a trajectory that's a home run. Like it seems almost every time. I'm not going to say perfect. Nobody's perfect except Mr. Perfect. But he's always looking to hit that home run, and he just always does it. No matter what he does, coming out with the kids giving him the belt, in-ring promo, backstage promos. I still think you're right. It's going to come back to Triple H too. Once the hard times with Brock is over, now it's going to be Triple H, and I think they're going to kind of tell the old, they're going to tell the Steve Austin, Vince McMahon story again, but maybe just not, So Cody's in a suit, and he's going to be drinking wine and smoking one of his cigars, but that's the only thing that would be different. But it's still going to be, like you said, Triple H can't get in the ring, and then
So okay, let me ask you guys this, because Cody is a sophisticated guy. Like, he is well dressed, cigar smoking, like the whole deal, right? Like, he's incredibly intelligent. He's been very honest about his own personal success. The success of his in WWE is well advertised. Everybody knows he's wealthy, and nobody's buying any storyline that puts him against an authority figure as an underdog. So knowing that Cody's not going to tell us a story, or not going to probably buy into telling us a story that we wouldn't believe, I don't think that we're ever going to get an authority figure battle with him. It wouldn't make sense.
I just can't get Triple H looking at him at that time and just seeing all of the little tiny things that could be in the back of someone's head. You never know, but he's got to get the belt first. That's he's got to go after Roman first. That's the first obvious thing.
Do y'all remember when CM Punk and Triple H had that moment in the ring where they were cutting promos on each other, and Triple H was just kind of laid back, reserved, not the Triple H promo that he normally cuts. It's just like he was the business side of Triple H in there, just basically telling CM Punk, basically just talking to him, right? Well, that's what I'm looking forward to, because we know we're going to get it at some point. Cody and Triple H both dressed to the nines in the ring. Triple H talking to Cody and then bringing up the throne incident, just shooting. I cannot wait to see that promo because I think we're going to get it at some point.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to work that in, but I agree it's going to happen. It's right there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's too early. That could just
gotta
be
work that in
the back.
somehow at some point.
It's just a seedling.
Yeah, and Mrs. Front Row puts in the chat.
And I agree.
When does Cody become more significant to Dusty? And real quick, I think historically, as what he's given to the business, I think that's a long road for Cody. Financially, Cody's surpassed him. Cody is generating more money for wrestling in general. When he was in AEW, when he was in Ring of Honor, now in WWE, he's the number 2 guy in the company. I think he's far surpassed Dusty in his money making and money earning potential.
They could say people are going to see WWE because they don't make any one single person, but
yeah,
Cody Rhodes is a significant amount of those asses in those seats.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they have that faith in him with this documentary, like you said, all the pomp and circumstance surrounding the premiere of this documentary. And I really think, this documentary and a lot of the other ones that they've done recently are really kind of intended on possibly pulling in new fans, because you're really showing like that wrestling isn't just about, watching these two people fight. Like, if someone's not a wrestling fan, how do you pull them in? You tell them these amazing backstories. You tell them, like, why should you root for this guy? Well, this is why you should root for him.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tony.
No, I was just going to say one thing to remember. Dusty Rhodes didn't have a brand. Cody Rhodes now has a brand. He has a tour bus. He has cigars. Basically Cody, like I tweeted out the other day, basically Cody is like he's on a campaign trail. It's like he's going out and trying to get votes. He's showing up to the arenas with all the galore, the handing the weight belt to the kids and the reactions that they're getting on film. They're making sure they get that reaction on film. Basically the shaking hands, kissing babies reaction when he hands the belt to the fan. And I mean, all of it, it's like he's on the campaign trail and he's working hard to get that American people vote,
It's interesting because when Cody was on the indies, when he left WWE, he made a point of after every show going out and taking pictures. Like, of course, there was meet and greets before the show and stuff like that. But after the show, he would just go and talk to people.
Yeah.
He did that when he was in Ring of Honor. He did that when he was in AEW. We were at AEW shows where I would watch him walk around, come to WWE, and I just figured, well, that's going to stop because they didn't allow that. He does it at house shows. He does it after Raw. He still goes out into the audience with 12,000 people and just meets people because – and we've talked to successful wrestlers who are very adamant about the grassroots, ground level, how you build your fan base, how you feed and water that fan base. You don't leave them behind. You're still out there meeting people. He doesn't need to do any of that stuff, but I think most or all of us have met Cody at one point or another on the Indies or Ring of Honor or whatever, and he took time. Every time I've spoken to him at a meet and greet, he took time. We talked cigars and wine. Just for a couple minutes, but like he made everybody feel like, thank you for being part of what we're doing here. And you're like, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
So I'm excited to see. There's a ton of other stuff, folks. If you haven't seen these interviews, go look them up. Chris Van Vliet's is great. Sam's is great.
Oh yeah.
Busted Open. Dave did a wonderful job, and they're all very different interactions. Although Sam did get Cody to talk about Matt Cardona being a pecker checker, so that was interesting. I'm sure the WWE people are probably real happy with that one. But
yeah,
and that's why I like Cody. He's like, well, screw it. He's like, what are they going to do? Punish me?
Yeah,
like, I'm here. You're like,
right.
I am looking forward to at some point in the future because she's a huge character, not a technical wrestler by current standards, but Brady Rhodes is at some point going to lend something special to this recipe, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to talk about that Cody said in some of those interviews, it was kind of a discussion topic. was he made some comments about how wrestling today is bigger than it was in the Attitude Era, or just as big. And I know, there was a little bit of a debate about it this past week about whether or not, there's an argument for that. And I feel like, it may not seem like wrestling is mainstream like it was in the Attitude Era, but it is. Whether or not that, we may be aware of it, it really is mainstream. I mean, you have TV shows on, mainstream television that are about wrestling. We had Young Rock. Unfortunately, that's been canceled. But that's a whole other situation. We have Heels that just debuted last night on Stars, and that is a major show. It's written and produced by Mike O'Malley. It's stars a lot of actors who aren't in wrestling. It's not just wrestlers that are acting in the show. It's a major show. Yep. And yeah, the second season just kicked off. We watched the first episode earlier. It was phenomenal. I highly suggest it. But yeah, we had two major shows surrounding wrestling stories. We had Monster Factory had a reality show on Apple TV. Mm-hmm. So that's, a reality wrestling TV show that is on.
I'll be able to watch that because Jackie streaming. Got an iPhone. She got a new iPhone, so I can watch that show now.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason she got an iPhone, right?
Yeah. Sorry, you're losing me on that one. I ain't paying for Stars.
But other than that, I mean, TV is not, the biggest medium for younger people these days. It's social media and YouTube, and TikTok especially. I can't remember who said it, but I've heard multiple different people say that they know people who know Rhea Ripley because she's TikTok famous.
Mm-hmm. Our son and his girlfriend
as a WWE wrestler. She's TikTok famous, and that is massive. There's so many people that are getting such a large following through social media that isn't because they're a wrestler. They're drawing people in from other avenues, and those, a percentage of those people are going to start watching because of that person that they know as a celebrity.
Yeah. Not to mention the every time like you see wrestlers on game shows on NBC or whatever, like Family Feud, Weakest Link, you're seeing wrestlers being represented. Even that new show with Big E was on the Hot Wheels show, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Steels. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
but even last week on Marvel Secret Invasion, which is a big Marvel property, Don Cheadle made an Undertaker reference. Like it's ingrained. It's ingrained in the society right now.
Hey, I heard a commercial today on the radio. I'm listening to actual terrestrial radio when I'm in the company car. Because I'm at the yard, right? So, yeah. Well, it's a good rock station here in St. Cloud. 101.7, I think. Anyway. I had the listening to the music. I heard the new Stain song today, and I was like, okay, the new Disturbed song. I was like, cool, they got new music coming out. Cool. Well, the commercial, it was a car commercial, local car commercial here, and I heard, oh, you didn't know, and I'm like, oh, yep, they get it, they get it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great, and it's not just those are Attitude Era references. But there are so many things. Like, I know people that know who Roman Reigns is, but don't know anything about wrestling. I know people who know who Charlotte Flair is, but don't know anything about wrestling. Dave was discussing on Busted Open the other day how he's been to a bunch of different events from, WWE to AEW, to Impact. And he's saying that he sees a massive change in the t-shirts that people are wearing. It's not necessarily the NWO, the Stone Cold t-shirts that we're used to seeing for so many years. So many people are wearing t-shirts of current wrestlers, whereas for many years we still saw such a majority of Attitude Era t-shirts. But it's really swinging now that this current era is I would make the argument that it's, you know, just as mainstream as it was in the Attitude Era, and we know that they're making more money as well.
Yeah.
You know, the financially it's way more successful.
Yeah.
Think about a couple of things. When you launch the Peacock app tomorrow, you will see NXT on the front with 55 million subscribers. That's what they're going to see tomorrow.
Mhm.
Across all their media tomorrow, they're going to be putting not even Raw, SmackDown, WrestleMania. NXT is going to be featured in front of over 50 million subscribers. You go to any sporting event, and Daniel Bryan's yes chants are still out there. Their LA Knights chants are now seeping into sporting events. They're now seeping into society and stuff. All of this stuff becoming cool again.
Ric Flair woos.
Oh, the woo
Always.
is
People don't even know what that's from.
Yeah,
People don't even know what that's from these days.
One can even argue Ric Flair is more popular now than when he ever wrestled.
Yeah.
He's like more over now, like with young athletes and everything, and just
one Bad Bunny video, and he was had more people see him in that video. Several billion views on that one video.
Yeah.
I can't remember who said it, but someone had told us recently, I think it was during the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. You know, Ric Flair goes to like every sporting event. He's everywhere. You know, he sits in the box, he woos, you know, they show him on camera. And I can't remember who it was. If you guys remember, let me know. Someone had told us that it was their wife or someone who saw him on TV during the Stanley Cup Finals, and they had commented like, "Oh, that's Ric Flair," and she was like, "You know who that is?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's a legendary wrestler. He's one of like the greatest of all time. How do you know who that is?" And she was pretty much like, "Oh, I just thought that was this hype guy that was at all these hype games."
He's a hype man. A hype man.
He's the hype man.
Yeah. Before we move on, I want to make a point about a tweet I made the other day, and it goes along with what we're talking about. And I'm looking for it on my timeline. I retweet so many things that I can't find it right now, but I know what I tweeted out. So this isn't necessarily equivalent to from the Attitude Era to now, but it is correlative. Correlate, is that a word? The correlation between the two.
Oh, well, one big word.
That's it.
One big word per show. We've reached over.
Okay.
Don't get gratuitous with the word.
Gratuitous. Yeah. All right.
Shout out to Uncle Bully.
Yes. Shout out to Bully. All right. So Roman Reigns, right, equals The Rock. Cody Rhodes equals Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Bloodline equals DX. The Judgment Day equals the Nation of Domination. Those are just 4 examples of WWE today, and they have something similar to what the Attitude Era had in those wrestlers. So it's kind of like you can you know, it's not necessarily equivalent, but it is something you could look towards. Like, okay, well, you know, today's WWE is doing a very good job. And Cody made the point that they're just as successful now, or even more successful than the Attitude Era was. And he has a point. Because back then in the Attitude Era, people gravitated towards 1 or 2 characters like Stone Cold or The Rock, you know. And WWE now, yes, we have Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes as the faces of WWE, and some could even argue Seth Rollins is in there as well. But
he is the champ. Let's not forget that.
Tony, can I just add to what you're saying?
Yeah.
You just mentioned the top names in WWE. However, The top 5 merch sellers, numbers 1, 3, 4, and 5, LA Knight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's not even at the top of the
Yeah.
card. He's 4 of the 5 top selling shirts in the company, and he's not even at the top of the card. That's how
Right.
popular people are getting across the board.
Yep.
And Rhea Ripley,
So-
as you said, Deb, like our friends, our son and his boyfriend all love Rhea Ripley like that. Their entire like 20-year-old community, 20, 25-year-olds, they all know Rhea Ripley from TikTok, and they don't know anything about wrestling. She's huge.
Right.
I heard of a famous broadcaster that would ruin his family for her. So,
I may have heard
You know?
that as well. Who
Yeah.
knows? Who's to
but
say?
there's a lot of people that would just throw everything in the house, everything, car. I'll be homeless for a month after that. I'll live.
So Mrs. Front Row brings up a good point. Roman's been an active star longer than most of the greats from ago, and that's true. I think Steve Austin was only 6 or 7 years as the Texas Rattlesnake run. Rock wasn't there very long before he went to Hollywood, only a few years. You have your veterans like John Cena, but most of the people, especially when you get into like the WCW days and stuff, like they didn't hang around long. So Roman's been at the top of the card for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, to the point of like WWE doesn't make single superstars anymore, like that can hold the company hostage, so to speak. I don't believe that can happen anymore anyway. There's nobody that's going to be worth $9 billion or whatever the hell they're worth. But
if Roman quit tomorrow, it would be a problem.
They put on a good product. That's what's putting asses in the seats too.
Yeah.
Everybody is upping their game in that company. And listen, when they were lagging and deserved shit, you got to give them flowers now because they're doing something. They're doing a lot of things right. Not everything, but they're doing a lot of things right. And there are a lot of entertaining stories and characters going on there, even in the even underneath the bloodline and the Cody Rhodes story. You got Otis and
Chelsea
Maxine
Green's in an
Creed.
interesting story.
Oh my God.
Looks like we're getting a new version of what is it with Lashley and MVP?
Hurt
Business.
Yes,
Hurt Business.
Oh,
yes.
with Street Profits.
Speaking of the segment on SmackDown last night with Lashley and the Street Profits, the woman who brought out the selection of wardrobe was none other than former guest, the Good Witch, Kai McKenna. Shout out to Kai McKenna.
Friend of the show.
Yes, friend of the show. Yes, we also popped to see her. I had to back it up because I think it was John that said that, and I was like, "Wait, was it really?" And so I rewound it, and then paused. I was like, "Hey, that is her." So yeah, for all you people out there who think that was just some random model, no, she's a wrestler and she's awesome.
She's a good witch.
Agreed.
She's a good witch.
Yes.
There's John. John is right. Shout out the Good Witch. But just Tony, to your point too, like we always talk about this stuff. Mrs. Front Row is an author. She writes murder mysteries, and well, we all watch a lot of wrestling. She writes things with like a very cohesive structure and storyline, and like an arc to it. So when you start to see things like what WWE's done over the last few years, they've really incorporated solid layered storytelling into already good matches. Like you can have a show with a lot of matches, and we talk about this all the time, but you forget about it tomorrow. But the next day, if there's good stories, you don't think about the moves. You think about, I've got to find out what's going to happen on Monday or Wednesday or Friday or whatever it is. That's been my biggest criticism of AEW. Love the matches. They need better storytelling. Not to go on a rant, but I think they're doing such a good job in WWE. And even in the independents, like a lot of the companies like Mission Pro, like CCW, like GCW, they're paying more attention to our audience is watching this, and they want to see what's going to happen next. Look at Bussy or the story with Masha as a champion. Like all these things, you have to have something to get people to care. And if I don't care, I'm not going to watch.
Yeah. And to your point about Mrs. Front Row being a murder mystery writer, to be a good murder mystery writer, you also got to understand how hard she's thinking about how not to get caught. So just watch out.
I think about it a lot.
Well,
Just watch out. Bro.
not only that, but she's also a rap video star. You're
This is
leaving
true.
that part out.
That's true.
Oh,
That's
yeah, that's
true.
true.
So
Yeah.
you better watch out, like
Mhm.
double
It doesn't even
hard.
have to be a mystery. You still have your whack.
You know what they say about women who write
she
murder
loves them,
mystery
love
novels and watch a lot of true crime documentary.
Mhm.
Lucky she loves
No,
you.
I don't.
Well, you better
I don't want to know. I'm probably better off not knowing.
Yeah. Then tell her not to send any of those murder mysteries to Jackie. Okay.
Okay, I know we got some other stuff we want to talk about. I just want to take a quick pause and talk about Mission Pro Wrestling, August 12th, 2 weeks from now. Boiling Point is going to be an awesome show. I'm wearing my new Izzy Moreno shirt. Go get Izzy's shirt. Super excited for Izzy's debut against Jasmine Allure. We have our title being defended by Genocide versus number one contender Tiffany Nieves. We have our gauntlet match. The King Bees are out. We announced new competitors this week. We had Trenda and I interviewed Lady Bird Monroe, one half of the Money Birds on Thursday night. She was wonderful.
Front row, I have a surprise for you. Brian allowed me to announce a new surprise match that's going to be there.
Uh-oh.
It's going to be Jeremiah and Neil with a duct tape on a pole match.
My money's on Neil. He's
I
a New Yorker.
so, yeah.
He's scrappy.
Yeah. Yeah, he may not be that tall, but, I think Neil can probably kick anybody's ass.
Oh, yeah.
He's angry.
I'm sorry.
He's an angry New Yorker. Watch out for them.
I'm
Shout
sorry.
out to Neil.
This is my first beer. I haven't had beer since I started my diet.
Oh.
Yeah. I started my
this
diet
is
last
fun.
night. But this is the first beer I had since I started it.
Okay.
So check out our pay-per-view on August 12th, Title Match Network. Go to missionprowrestling.com for tickets and email us for sponsorship opportunities at missionprowrestling@gmail.com. We have a whole team of people working hard behind the scenes to give you guys a super fun show. Anything can happen. Stay tuned. You know the deal.
Mm-hmm.
See everybody on the 12th.
Yes.
The other thing, I think one of the big topics of this week that I was hoping we would catch up on is Dave and Thunder were talking about on Friday on Busted Open about social media and sort of the impact of what people say. Words mean things. Specifically, they have an impact, and I think Dave was talking about some of the tweets that he had seen in reference to the AEW women's match on Wednesday. I'm not a wrestler. I can't say what happened in that match. Something was off about that match, whether they just didn't have chemistry. I don't know. Like, I wasn't there, but it didn't come across great on TV. But I'm never going to go on social media and tell somebody that they're a terrible wrestler, or because what do I know,
Mhm.
right?
Exactly.
But I saw so much hate, like legitimate, awful things. And
Horrible.
Thunder talked about, they've been getting coaching. She's been getting coaching from her PR team, rather, about managing your social media. She doesn't even have Twitter on her phone anymore. Like, her team manages that.
Mm-hmm.
And when something important comes up, they say, hey, check this tweet out or whatever.
Yeah.
It's important not only that you not let social media affect your mental health, but also being aware that if somebody is in the public eye and they have a big following, your words have a big impact.
Mm-hmm.
So I did see that some of the wrestlers in AEW and other people, I saw Lufisto's tweet, I saw just this back and forth bantering and bickering. And I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on like all of that. Like, it was a big conversation. So Mike, we'll go with you first.
It's sparked just from that sign that we all saw, and we posted.
Which sign? Fill people in.
The
Yeah.
sword. Yeah.
That was it. Book the women's division better, and a lot of people, you could respectfully agree. You don't have to sit there and tear people apart.
Right.
I make no bones about what wrestlers I like or don't like, but you don't hear me coming on. I don't go at them, adding them on Twitter and stuff like that. just, you know, I've over the past few days, I've read a lot of mean tweets about some of our friends and some people that we may not like or like. It doesn't even matter. What matters is it was very mean, hurtful stuff. Not, you know,
Yeah.
not any kind of critique in a way of helping, and not that you even know anything. Like, why would I, if I don't like a certain wrestler A and wrestler B, and then they have a bad match that clearly was not going the way that they wanted it to go, I'm not gonna sit there and all of a sudden call this one fat and this one sucks and you're a mean person and you're this and that and whatever on media. You know, we may have opinions behind the scenes and just, you know, on our own privacy, but nothing that to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
mean to me, just
Yeah.
outright mean stuff. And then I even today I'm just reading the stuff they're saying. You know, like people keep coming back at Lufisto, and it's just like, it's insane. Like, dudes, you know, half those guys probably wouldn't even be able to walk up the 3 damn steel steps to get into the fucking ring.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
true statement. This, you know, this comes back to the Hana Kimura situation and so many others where social media comments or, you know, faceless, nameless people cause so much hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, what about, well, you know, I mean, then there's other people that it doesn't even have to be from social media. There are people like Daphne who
Mhm.
had these problems, these demons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if she had been? You know, we know there's people, and they've been open about it. You know,
Yeah.
wrestlers that have been open with it, with their mental illness, and
Mhm.
Thunder is too. And
Right.
you know, read mean comments about her, like, why the hell is she getting shrapnel from? You know, comments
She's not even
made-
there. No.
yeah, comments made about Thunder, like, you know, the lady hasn't wrestled for a fucking year. The fuck.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, I just,
And
speaking
how
of
do we
social
handle
media,
how do we handle not responding too? You know, that takes
Well-
great restraint, you know, because you got to think, you know, this is if someone, you know, some of these people may be our friends and we don't want to comment and be an embarrassment to yourself and them. So there's that too.
Yeah.
So just don't write don't write anything. Don't hit the send button. Think
Yeah.
it out. Think it out. You know, as someone who's had Venom before years ago, you know, you can change.
Yeah.
I did. You can.
So
Be
real
a
quick,
better person.
I got some breaking news. Emily May, our good friend Emily May, messaged me, and there's she's hosting one of the Great American Bash interviews backstage, and go check out NXT's
Oh.
social media. She was interviewing Roxanne Perez, and Larry
Ooh.
Davenport did attack her, and a big melee broke out. I'm looking at it going, oh man,
brouhaha.
this is crazy.
No,
You gotta go
a
check out.
brouhaha.
Go check out NXT's social media. All kinds of stuff
Nice.
going on over there.
Awesome.
Hopefully Emily wasn't
Hmm.
injured. we want
Yeah.
her to be okay.
Yeah.
And
One
back
thing
to
I
the
wanted
point-
to say on the topic, sorry, Tony. One thing I wanted to say on the topic is, you know, like you said, with Thunder having a PR team handle her, especially her Twitter, it's kind of a double-edged sword because social media got really popular because it was a way for celebrities or people in the public eye to be able to have direct access to their fans and not have to go through a publicist or something. And now it's kind of like turned where, you know, if you are someone, you should seriously think about having your social media handled by a publicist or PR person or something of that nature, because, you know, it can really wear on you, especially if you're someone in the public eye who, you know, might get hundreds and hundreds of comments. You know, it is definitely wearing on the psyche to just scroll through and read all those nasty things about you.
Right.
So yeah, it's a double-edged sword because on the one hand, someone might, you know, be able to enjoy the fact that they get that instant feedback, and, you know, want to see the good stuff, obviously, but then, you know, it does take great restraint to kind of shield yourself from the bad stuff and not let it
Yes.
get to you. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
So here's one piece of advice I want to give to people. Like a lot of people in the community now in wrestling understand, or they have access to wrestlers. They're friends with them, whatever, right? If somebody has made it clear that they do not wish to be on social media, don't send them tweets. Don't
Right.
screen grab stuff and inundate them. Whether you're friends with them or you know a friend who knows a friend, respect people's boundaries when it comes to social media, because there's a reason why they're not on it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know we've had conversations with Dave, both publicly and privately, about the stuff that Busted Open has to deal with, and they're not like a Tom Cruise with millions and millions of people contacting them every day. Like those people,
Right.
forget it. Like, but yeah, I'm sorry, Tony, you were going to say something.
Oh, I was just gonna reiterate what Mike was talking about and Deb. People have gotten too comfortable saying whatever they want to say on social media and not getting punched in the mouth for it. It's like the ease of hatred that's coming out of their mouths. Like it's so easy for them to say all this stuff, and it's like, how do you have a conscience, being a good person and
Mhm.
saying all that vile stuff towards somebody that has feelings, that looks at the screen and has to, you know, deal with the emotions that they are going to go through when they read these comments.
Right.
How I just don't understand how people can be that vile. But we are talking about a toxic IWC. There, on one hand you have the good, people that are
Eh,
in the wrestling community, and then it's got to be inundated with the bad too. I mean, the
yes.
scale,
Mhm.
the justice scale, this Lady Justice,
I
it's crazy.
Yeah, Tony,
Yeah.
I always say this, it's your they always want to bring up that it's their First Amendment right. Okay, it's your First Amendment right to burn the American flag. See, when you think of someone's First Amendment right, think of someone's First Amendment right when they're doing something that pisses you off that you have to let go by. There's something. Not too many
Yeah,
people like to see the flag burned, but it is a First Amendment right
right.
for someone else to burn it. But then don't
Yeah, but the
sit there
First
and
Amendment just has to
yeah,
do with
don't
like
don't sit there
the
and complain when
government.
somebody gets pissed off when you do it in front of them and they punch you in the fucking mouth,
Right.
Yeah,
because there's always consequences, like other
right.
people we know say.
Yeah,
Respectful fans get what they get deserve or want, and disrespectful fans get what they deserve.
yeah.
And it's the
Yes.
Well,
same thing with that kind of stuff too. Like Bully
right.
says, he never responds to anyone, and there's people that at him at certain times, and
It,
when they see him in
yep.
person, who knows? He's already said he's met people, and had nice
Yeah.
talks with them.
Yeah.
Or when he does respond, like he's someone who's smart enough to kind of
Yeah.
like make the other person look like the fool that they are.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
but
know,
his character,
he
he's
doesn't
savvy.
take the bait, but he throws it back at them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And another thing I wanted to say too is not everything deserves a response. Why
Exactly.
why do people feel like they have to respond to every single thing on Twitter, positive or negative, especially the negative? Why? I mean, just because it's there on Twitter does not mean that you have to comment on it. You know,
I know,
just
really.
just let somebody have an outlet, right? And there's always going to be somebody that comes in to try to sweep them off, just sweep the leg on them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
cannot stand
I
it.
know.
It's just, and there's people, in our own community that do that, you know, and
Mhm.
it's. I mean, just the people
Another
that are
comment.
so people
Knives
that
to
are
the right,
so
forks to the right, knives in the back.
yeah, people that are so comfortable being disrespectful to someone, I will never understand. You know, why do we not use that power to uplift our community, to uplift people when they need that
Mhm.
uplifting, rather than just striking them down whenever just because they want to watch the world burn? That
Yeah.
that shit pisses me off.
So
Sorry.
if you guys, for you guys who are in our Discord, go check out the Nation's Corner Discord. It's usually a very lively conversation, usually very positive. We have moderators in there making sure everybody behaves, but it is fun and collaborative. And one of the conversations today was a brief conversation with I think Ryan was in there talking about why do people are so hateful? Why can't they, like you said, why can't they just go in there and talk about the things they like? And the conversation was like, well, people just want attention, and they're not going to get attention by just being positive. The people get the most attention by being hateful and negative. They're 4-year-olds stomping their feet.
Yeah.
And you just have to ignore them. You just have to treat them like they don't exist. What do we always say? Don't give them oxygen. I don't care. I don't care how hateful the message is. And I've seen some dirt sheet writers get thrown under the bus for some hateful stuff.
Mhm.
I still will never interact. I won't even give them a view, never mind a like or a response, even a hate, even because then responding with negativity just fuels the hate. And I'm like, I don't have time. I ain't get time for that.
Yeah.
Nobody got time for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's obviously it's something that I've dealt with also, just trying to kind of like resist the urge to say something back. But yeah, at a certain point, you're like, these people just want attention. They just want attention. They just want you to snap back at them so they can say something smart back to you and so try to be like, haha, I got you.
They want you to make a comment back so they can screenshot it and use it for ammo later.
Yeah.
That too. Yeah.
There's the whole subculture of people that are proud of getting blocked by wrestlers. Like, why are you proud of that? That doesn't make any sense.
And there's a whole subculture of people also that are proud to like go on social media and kind of like call out wrestlers and challenge them. It's like it's just really who would do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's really an odd thing, like for people to feel like they need that attention in a negative way.
Yeah, well, like me and Deb hate each other. We don't add each other on social media all the time.
Well, I will now.
Yeah, we make it look like we get along, right?
Yeah, I think we're pretty good at it.
Deb just hires Scotty to put stuff on your front lawn.
Yeah. What's next?
Oh, front row.
All right. Well, we have a couple of minutes left. I know there's Collision tonight. I'm sure cool stuff is happening. Collision's actually my favorite AEW show. I really enjoy watching Collision. It's a pretty well-paced show.
A little fresh.
There's stories that make sense. I've heard that there's some new people behind the scenes, contributing there, which is great. Tomorrow's Great American Bash with NXT. I'm excited to see this Roxanne Perez match, because we weren't going to do a full review, but like, how awesome was it that Roxanne got to do that supermarket scene on Tuesday night?
That was awesome.
With an homage to Booker T and Stone Cold. It was so cool. I popped. I thought it was
it's
great.
just too bad it wasn't in a Wawa.
Or
well, they train in Texas. It would be in Buc-ee's. So
they had to have good cardio to do it in the Buc-ee's.
It's true.
Hey, speaking of Collision, isn't tonight the World Tag Team title match with FTR and
I think
Adam Cole
it is.
MJF?
I think so.
Okay.
Honestly, I just enjoy Collision. I honestly don't even know what the card is. I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And we talked about the women's match on Wednesday. Last night, Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose, great match to main event Rampage. Shout out to both women. That was a cool match.
Yeah. I honestly very rarely look up the cards of shows beforehand to know what matches are on. I'd almost rather just watch the show and not remember what matches were advertised. And then I'm hey, this match, that's going to be fun. Yes. Speaking of FTR, I don't know if you also saw the promotional graphics that they were putting out for this FTR Better Than You Baby match. Very cool. Just whoever person is in charge of putting together those promo graphics, especially the FTR stuff, it's just fantastic. But before we go, next weekend we had some big news in CCW land here in the Northeast. We got two weekends in a row of great indie shows in our community. CCW's having their show this coming weekend, next weekend, and then the following weekend, Mission Pro's having their show. So I know we're all really excited about that. But CCW did make an announcement that their new kind of, if you want to call it developmental promotion or whatever, Venom Championship Wrestling is going to be making their debut on Saturday, August 5th, at the Monster Factory in Paulsboro, New Jersey. It's CCW's Blood in the Sand anniversary show, and VPW will have their debut show, Cross the Line. So that will, if you can't be in Paulsboro, New Jersey for that, it'll be on Title Match Network, which also hosts Mission Pro. So it's kind of like we're all one big family.
Yeah, it's very cool. And we have to give a lot of credit to the folks over at CCW. They're working hard to put together these shows. They've just recently, I think this is their second or third show, the third show, which will be streaming, and just they're growing. And it's great to have people in different parts of the country representing and presenting women's wrestling at such a high level. It's really cool.
Yeah. I'm so
and
happy.
Our group
for
is
John.
a big part of both companies, so that's awesome. So
yeah, love it.
So happy for John in South Jersey in the chat there. He is a big part of CCW. He works hard. They're putting on a great product. I'm just so happy to know two big, strong women's independent wrestling promotions, Mission Pro and CCW, and Nation's Corner is involved with both. We're right there in the pocket with both of them, and I'm so happy.
Yep. Very cool.
Oh yeah, and even more. Also on the same day as the 12th, if you're in local here on Long Island, VPW is having their Gold Rush Rumble, and they're there. And then tomorrow I'm going to be going to CAP, Creative Pro Wrestling Beyond Boundaries.
Yes.
And
nice.
This is an awesome card. I'm going with my son Eric and my nephew Joseph and my I'll call him my son-in-law Steve. And
breaking news.
Your
whole bunch of our friends. The
breaking
main event
news.
is Effie. The main event is Effie versus Aaron Rourke. That's really that's gonna be sick. That's gonna be sick. We got our friend Gabby Forge is gonna verse Nat Castle. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. We got Liam Davis, which is that's the guy that Gabby Forge did a jackhammer to, jackhammer power slam. So she's very strong. He's a big dude. He's going against Bronson. Yeah, Dr.
Nice.
Cool, another friend of ours, and Bobby Orlando. They're gonna make a new tag team there versus our other friends, GKM and Leo Sparrow, the Birds of the Sun.
Yeah.
Crazy. And then our friends the Even Stevens are in a triple tag team match to see who's the number one contender. They face Jack Tomlinson and Dante Drago, Vlog Bro University again, and Jay George and Sebastian Amor, a new recruit. And there you go. That's going to be fun tomorrow.
Damn, we got
and
a lot of
expose
friends.
more people to this lovely world of pro wrestling.
Yes.
Go to independent shows. Like I always say, you never know who you're going to be seeing from.
Yep.
You see them in a VFW hall, a bingo hall, an American Legion hall, and next thing you know,
They're in
see
AT&T
them on
Stadium.
Dynamite. You see them on Raw. You see them at anywhere, and it's the greatest thing. And so much respect to all these out there. They've been getting a lot of hell this week on social media. All you idiots, shut the hell up. And to the schmuck that said Thunder's the worst, you're an asshole. Thunder's the best. And once you get back, you're gonna be kicking some ass and taking names.
All right, guys, we're a minute over. We want people to go watch wrestling.
Yes.
and eat snacks, probably.
Yes.
I gotta eat dinner.
Oh, okay. My wife bought me moonshine, so that's my
our favorite drink.
Yes. All right, Tony, where can people find you on the socials?
At Tony Justice Hey, AJFA. I almost flubbed my own handle. And if you're a Metallica fan, like I know all of us are, you know what that means. Ooh.
Deb?
I am at That's So Debonair on the Twitter machine and on Instagram. And I want to show off this new shirt that I got from Etsy. It says Darth Vader
Nice.
Dark Side Tour in Metallica style writing.
Hell
Cool.
yeah.
I'm super happy to get this shirt. It took like a month to get here from when I ordered it, but it's cool. I love it. Check out the pictures I posted on Twitter earlier wearing the shirt, and of course I got to coordinate my makeup and all that. So
It's nice, not another black shirt. Something colorful.
yeah.
I like it. Mike?
There. Mission Pro. MPW. Hashtag Nation's Corner on location.
What are you doing, Thriller?
Just watching him.
Oh no, that's the Backstreet Boys dance.
I'm more like Fred Sanford from Arthritis.
Good Lord. I work with children.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And I am PW Front Row on the socials. You can also see me and Trenda Magellan on Thursday nights on MPW Unmatched. Go check out our interview with Ladybird from this week. It was a fun episode. Mission Pro Wrestling's Boiling Point on August 12th, Title Match Network. Keep an eye on the socials. We got more stuff coming. And check us out on Nation's Corner next week. Check us on the socials at Nation's Corner and The Nation's Corner everywhere else. Guys, everybody, have a great weekend.
Thank you, bro.
See y'all next week. Later.